Welcome to our session of business startup training. Today we'll be comparing Sage and Xero, and Xero here is Xero. The two accounting packages, just to see which is better and which is better. Not necessarily which is worse, but which is better of the two. So our objective is to get a better understanding of the pros and the cons of Sage and Xero in terms of the two accounting packages. We're going to look at the pros and cons of Sage and then the pros and cons of Xero. We're also going to look at a cost-benefit analysis because that gives us some information to be able to grapple with what is happening with the two softwares. And then we will conclude. So let's talk about Sage Online. Now, Sage in recent times have developed an online payroll. Yeah, so mainly Sage started off with you buying a CD and then you put it in a computer and you upload the information from the CD, but it has now migrated into payroll. Now, one of the major advantages of Sage is that it has 24/7 customer service, so you're able to call anytime you wish and get customer service. It might be a bit challenging sometimes to get through, but generally, they're good in that area. They're strong in customer service and supporting for their packages. So also what is good about this particular one is that it's automated, so new legislations you're able to actually get some idea as to how what's the latest, and once the government actually makes a budget report and then amends the various thresholds and tax related information, then they upload it immediately or as soon as. The one of the main challenge with this one, it goes up to 25 employees, and now if you have a company that's bigger than 25 employees, it might be a bit of a problem, but as it stands, up to 25 for the Sage Payroll Online platform. Now, Sage actually has independent their main accounting. Now, they've developed their main accounting over the years, and for the most part, it's normally help small businesses. It's recently have a bank feed, which means that you can actually automate and pull information from the bank into the software and update it. It also has, you can create invoices, you can have receipts, you can track cash flow. You are also able to amend and look at VAT returns online. So these are some of the things that is good about Sage, which is the main accounting software at the moment. Now, in terms of the drawback to Sage, I would say the fact that it only goes up to 25 employees. This is Sage Payroll, is a bit of a challenge. I think it's not necessarily user friendly like other softwares. The customer service is good, but then you might need to rely on them a lot to kind of navigate the technicalities of operating the software. Now, in terms of the main accounting software, I would say it's a little bit complex. I mean, if you've looked at it, the setup of it's slightly a bit more complex than other softwares. I don't find it user friendly, and then this is just my take. It's playing catch up. So there are others who are in the game who are much further in terms of accounting, even though it has been around for a while. But I think it needs to be careful because there are other players that are waiting to get in and steal the market share from them. And so there's some refining in terms of the technicalities that is required. Now, in terms of the pros of Xero. Now, Xero is an online accounting software, so it's cloud-based accounting. It's linked to the bank, which means it has bank fee. You have unlimited users. Unlike Sage, I think they're limited the amount of users, and if you want more users, you have to pay. It offers the payroll and accounting together. So unlike Sage, you have the payroll system separate from the main accounting, which means you need to get a journal to transfer the information from the payroll into the main accounting software. While this, it's all integrated. So immediately once you make a post, it feeds into the main accounting software immediately. It is user friendly. And you're able to get around with it. In terms of the main accounting, it's not UK based, so in terms of the cons of it, it's not UK based, so there's some challenges there. So you have to adopt some of the codes, etc., but that doesn't negate the fact that it is fantastic. You have to email for customer support, which is a bit of a challenge. If you're not very good with communicating exactly what your problems are via email, it will be a challenge there. Some people like to talk to someone, and with this company, it's a bit of a challenge to get through to an actual person. You might need to adopt some of the codes, as I said before, and there's a learning curve. But I think if you have a strong background in accounting, you can really do this very well. I would say, in terms of the cost benefit analysis, I would say some of the main things to look at. So if we're comparing Xero and then Sage, the main areas we can look at is in terms of the cloud base. I think Xero is best in that area. In terms of pricing, I think currently what I've discovered is with Sage payroll is about $32.40. Now this is just really basic. And I think you're more likely going to spend a little bit more, up to nearly £100, really, to actually to use this particular software. In terms of Sage 50, it's about £36. But again, you might spend a little bit more. Altogether, I think it's maybe about 150 in real terms. But currently, based on information on their website, it's about $68.40. In terms of Xero, on the other hand, it's about £30. If we were to look at the payroll side of it, if up to 25 employees, if you were looking at 25 employees, you get 5 free, and so up to 25 employees, I would say about 30. And then in terms of the main accounting, you're looking at if you were to have 4 additional expense claim persons in addition to the main accounting package, I would say it's about £42. I think altogether maybe about £72. In terms of the looking at the information on exactly as it is, it seems as though Sage is better on the pricing front, and Xero is behind. However, I think in terms of the value what Xero brings and time, you're gonna save on time, and labor hours is gonna go down significantly. So that's where it's competitive. But pricing, it seems to be inching towards a little bit more expensive than Sage. You're able to access on smartphone, and I think that's a plus. Location, you can access anywhere in the world. So again, Xero is better in that way. I think in terms of user friendliness, I would say Xero is better in that way. Labor hours, you spend less time on Xero than you would say on Sage. The main drawback on Xero is customer service. But other than that, it's a fantastic. If you were to do a cost benefit analysis between the two of them, I would say Xero gets the edge in that regard, in my opinion. Now, if we were to kind of conclude, what are some of the things we can conclude? Yes, Sage has been around for many years. I think they started in the 1980s, so they're quite good. So they've been around for a long time. But Xero is coming up. I mean, they've been around from 2006, and they are a New Zealand, Australian company. So they're coming out from that particular region, but they're making major inroads in terms of accounting and making it easy to process and navigate the system. So for me, I would say Xero is number 1. I don't know what you think, but tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.